So in the last segment, then I ended up talking about the kind of de-evolution of the Muslim and the Ummah. And this is having lost track of the mission, having given up being the people of Dawah and the community of Dawah, having lost our knowledge, having lost our tasawwuf, having lost the understanding of khidmah to Islam and to the community, and becoming the khudama, the servants of our household. Okay? And I know that this is very sensitive, so please don't read into this any more than what I'm actually saying. All right? Quasi-Islam is, understanding quasi-Islam is based on, okay, misapplying Islam, misappropriating, or not having things prioritized right, okay? So if you're being a good husband and a good father and taking care of your family, okay, this is from Islam. But it is not the objective of Islam. And it is, what's happening is that you're sacrificing things that are more important and more beneficial to you, okay? And, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has even, just directly mentioned, that, if your fathers and your sons and your spouses and your business and it's all more important to you than Allah and His Messenger and striving for the deen of Allah, then just wait for Allah to send punishment on you, okay? Because, and here I'm talking specifically to Muslim men, but I need the Muslim women to listen, because you need to push your husbands out of the house and out to work for the deen. Because if you don't, you're both going to be destroyed by Allah, okay? But to the men, because I keep hearing this silly thing about real men and real husbands and, the ideal Muslim man, and he takes care of his family. Okay, that's in Islam, all right? But you don't do that at the expense of things that are higher priority in deen, okay? Rasullullah ﷺ, he left himself and his wives and his children starving for months. And believe me, he is the best Muslim who ever lived, okay? So please get real, okay? You're following Hawa, and that is another source of quasi-Islam, probably the main source, okay? But giving up these priorities. So now let's look at the Quranic definition of rajul, man. What is a man? Okay? So the best source is not listening to what people say in the community. The best source is the Book of Allah. So here are two instances where Allah uses the word man, rajul, in the Quran. رِجَالٍ لَا تُلْهِهِمْ تِجَارَةٌ وَلَا بَيْعٌ عَنْ ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ وَإِقَامِ الصَّلَاةِ. Men who do not allow their business and their profits, their money, distract them from remembering Allah and establishing their salah properly, okay? And the principle here is that they're men who have the sense not to let their dunya and their hawa overwhelm the demands of deen. That's the basic principle there. And then another instance, and this is in Surah Yaqeen, okay? And this is like one of the surahs of da'wah, okay? Yasin wal Quran al Hakim innaka la min al mursaleen. So Allah is boom right there in the beginning, okay? But there's a story in this surah, and Allah says, وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. Okay? That a man came, hurrying, okay, or running from the outskirts of the city because a prophet had come to the city to warn them. And the people weren't wanting to listen. And they were insulting the prophet and just saying, oh, these are silly stories. وَجَاءَ مِنْ أَقْصَى الْمَدِينَةِ رَجُلٌ يَسْعَى. Okay, and this man came hurrying from the outskirts of the city, and he said, oh, my people, okay, listen to the messengers. Okay, obey them. Follow them. Attabi'um. But Allah uses the word rajul. Rajul, man. Okay, a man in the Quran engages in da'wah, calling humanity to Allah. That is a man. Okay? So I wish that this silly talk about real man would just like go away. Okay. But anyway, so getting back then, now to the issue of the community that we're in now, all right? In my segments discussing quasi-Islam, I mentioned that Muslims arrived in the United States and in Europe, okay, not knowing Islam. I mean, not knowing anything about Islam, okay? So there was the deficiency of knowledge and understanding. But going back 30 years, 35 years, okay, I know that there were brothers and sisters here who were accepting an obligation that they worked on every day, and they do that until today. Okay, every single day. And it is the obligation of making da'wah to the Muslims. And it is obligatory. It is fard. Okay? And if you have any doubts about that, there's an excellent book. It's called Ahkam as-Sultaniyah, and it is by one of the early imams, his name Al-Mawardi. Okay, go look it up. When Muslims are away from the obligations of Deen, it is obligatory to make da'wah and to call them back to the Deen. Okay? Now, in the community, there were a few people who accepted this obligation, and they committed themselves to doing it every single day. Their time, their effort, okay, going door to door, shop to shop, house to house, Muslim to Muslim, calling them back to the Deen. And the majority of the community refused. Boom. The birth of quasi-Islam. The birth of quasi-Islam. Okay? Because you had those few people who were willing to step on their hawa, on their personal preferences, and to spend time every day as Allah has demanded, okay, that you spend your time working for Allah's Deen. That's the offer Allah made. That's what Jannah is for, okay? So these people took the offer. The vast majority of Muslims rejected the offer, and what they decided to do was set up masajid where they could sit and listen to an enjoyable talk about Islam. And that is how we have the quasi-Islam masjid, and the quasi-Islam imam, and the quasi-Islam Muslim, and the quasi-Islam community. And that is why we are failing everything, okay? Failing the number one mission of the Deen, which is human beings entering Islam. We have absolutely failed with 90% of the converts. Failing with the youth. Failing to inspire humanity. Failing to produce intelligent leaders, okay? I mean, it's amazing that Muslims want to go around in life like we are God's gift to this earth and to humanity. The funny thing is that I don't know a single Muslim on earth today that humanity is coming to saying, please help us solve our problems. Okay? So you're not that great. Okay? You'll be great when human beings are coming to you, consult with you to say, look, we need to solve this climate situation. We need to solve this horrible capitalism thing. Okay, so when you have Muslim leaders, okay, engaging in problem solving for 7.5 billion humans, okay, that'll be, okay, then you can hold your head up and respect yourself, okay? But our community is just, okay, it's, and I don't mean to hurt anybody. Our community is doing things of Islam, but we are massively violating Islam, and that's what quasi-Islam is. Okay, so I've got to come back.